Welcome in, Bills Mafia, and welcome back to the Go Bills podcast. I am your host and founder of the Go Bills podcast, Brett. Glad to be with you on another Tuesday evening. The Buffalo Bills will be playing the New York Jets in a great revenge game this Sunday in Orchard Park, New York, after 3 weeks on the road against three different teams, two of them being played in uh, Detroit, the other game being played in New England. I apologize. I have a little bit of technical difficulties, guys, real quick, so I apologize about that. We will work through it a little bit, so I do apologize about that. Should be good to go now. Do apologize about that. But the Buffalo Bills will be playing the New York Jets this Sunday in Highmark Stadium in a revenge week, and we're going to call this week Revenge Week for the Bills because they are now in first place overall in the division and also first place overall in the AFC. So they're back in everything. We got exactly what we wanted over the weekend. Got the rest that we needed for the for the last 10 days, which is great. Glad to have that. Real quick, a quick shout out to Chill Sale Bills, who says, Go Bill Podcast. What's up, fam? Glad to be with you. Appreciate you, Style, last week for being on the podcast all week. Appreciate all the stuff that you did for us throughout the week. We will definitely be collaborating again soon. And I loved everything that we did. If you haven't already, go follow Chill Sale Bills. They have a virtual reality system that we used on our podcast over the past few days. And we were able to utilize that, talk about some stuff. And it was a great podcast over the last few weeks. So if you haven't already, follow the Chill Sale Bills. You can find them on YouTube as well as on Instagram at Chill Sale Bills. Going back to the Bills, after 3 weeks on the road, Buffalo finally gets a little bit of some sleep, being able to be at home for a little bit after the 7 feet of snow that fell in Buffalo. Not having the home game as well as also having the game on Thanksgiving against the Detroit Lions and then also the New England Patriots. The Bills are finally at home. They're going to be playing up against the New York Jets. They will be facing a tough team. Last time the Bills played them, they did end up losing 20-17, but a lot of the issues happened to be from some injuries as well as few other things that happened during the course of the game where Buffalo struggled and they weren't able to capitalize, especially in the red zone and even on in third down efficiency. And that's what cost the Bills a ton in the game. Let's go ahead and give you a game preview of this game. We will highlight a ton of stuff today. So let's begin with that. And today we will also be covering the preview of the Bills game. We'll also give you the key matchups, keys to the game, and give you our score predictions for the game. So Chill Sale Bills, if you have any score predictions for the game, don't forget to drop them in the comments below, and you will be featured on the show. Let's start with the offense for the Bills. The Bills' offense over the past few weeks has been much better. They are converting, especially on third down, and also having sustained drives where they're more balanced. And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed over the past few weeks is the balance that they've had. It's been a totally different offense where Buffalo is they're utilizing the running backs. They've utilized James Cook as well as Devin Singletary over the past few weeks. The run blocking has been so much better. I know that we have had Deion Dawkins out, but David Quisenberry has stepped up a ton in his place. And it looks like a different offense for the Bills, a more balanced offense where they're not putting so much pressure on Josh Allen. And he's finally we're finally seeing the playoff run type of team that we have. I know the past few weeks have been some struggles with the Bills not being able to play a full balanced 4 quarters, and now Buffalo is back to being normal. And against the New England Patriots, they were balanced all the way around. They did everything that they possibly could, and they played on all 3 phases of the football game. They played very well. In that game, Buffalo's run game was electric. They averaged a little over 5.9 yards per carry with James Cook in the ball game. They had a ton of plays that were very successful, especially when they were going up against the dime package for the New England Patriots. And that's the biggest thing that I noticed in that game was the Patriots had that dime package, and Buffalo was able to capitalize, and they were able to play bully ball, in my opinion. And the bully ball game was what allowed Buffalo to have success. Overall, the Bills had a ton of success with 6 or fewer rush defenders in cover or in the run game, and that allowed Buffalo to have over 100 yards overall in the run game. The key matchup for this game is going to be Stephon Diggs on Sauce Gardner. Last time the Bills played the New York Jets, Buffalo went after Sauce Gardner early, and then all of a sudden they got a little drive with Stephon Diggs, and then they started trying to go for him again. And it worked in the beginning of the game where Buffalo was able to get that 41-yard pass to Stephon Diggs on the opening drive. Then they kind of fell short a little bit. They started having some struggles. Then they didn't go after Stephon Diggs again. And I do think that if Buffalo is smart, they target Sauce Gardner early, stretch the field, make sure that you're getting Sauce in one-on-one coverage with Diggs, because this is going to be a matchup where it's two greats. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Darrelle Revis versus Terrell Owens, or even Darrelle Revis versus all the other receivers that he's gone up against. And Sauce has lived up to the potential. He's a rookie who was drafted out of the University of Cincinnati. Great player. He has a lot of length. He's about 6'3", 6'4". Great size, great length that he has. He's able to go up against the best wide receivers in the game. So if I'm Buffalo, I do go up against him a little bit, utilize him, and then you can also target DJ Reed, who is his counterpart on the other side with Gabe Davis. I think if Buffalo is smart, they stretch the field early with Diggs and Davis, and then you can also have Nyheim Hines in there as well, stretching the field using those wheel routes and stuff like that to be able to allow Buffalo to use the play action and being able to use the checkdowns as well to different players such as Dawson Knox and Isaiah McKenzie, or even one of the running backs in James Cook and Devin Singletary as well. I think this plan will allow Buffalo to have different avenues that they can target, because there's going to be plays where the New York Jets are going to have to play up in coverage, and then there's going to be plays where they're going to have to play back in coverage, because you have so many good players on this Bills team, and there's a lot of talent overall on the offense. So if the New York Jets are very smart in this game, they will target all these. They will probably play one-on-one, maybe put 2 guys on Stephon Diggs, try and take him out. But the Bills will need to have their number 2 wide receiver step up. If that's Gabe Davis or is that Isaiah McKenzie, I don't know. But whoever it is, they need to step up in this game. And they need to have a lot of success and have a lot of yards after the catch in this game. Overall, the other thing that the Bills are going to have to go up against is they're going to have to go up against one of the best defensive lines in the game right now. There's a ton of players in this game that they're going to be going up against, such as Quinnen Williams, as well as Bryce Huff, who took took Josh Allen out of the game last time. And there's, like I said, a ton of levels to the game where Buffalo is going to have success in this game with the run game as well as the pass game. And there's a ton of players on the New York Jets that are really good. You can look into the New York Jets. There's playmakers all over on the defensive line. You got Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins, Jermaine Johnson, Bryce Huff, as well as Carl Lawson. And all these players are playing really good ball right now. They are making a difference in the Robert Saleh defense. And they're, like I said, they're playing good ball, and they're doing exactly what they need to do in this game. And they're making an impact and giving the ball back to Zach Wilson as well as Mike White to be able to capitalize on the drives. If Buffalo wants to have success in this game, they're going to have to stay in the pocket and go up against these different defensive linemen. And hopefully having Deion Dawkins back in this game, I don't know what the status is for him, but if he is back, that's going to be a big impact for the Bills going up against this defensive line who has been pressuring quarterbacks at an alarming rate this season. Next, the Bills are going to be going up against two really good linebackers in Quincy Williams as well as CJ Mosley. And the Bills' run game over the past few weeks, like I said, has had success. They're doing really good things. But Buffalo is going to have to not only utilize them in the run game, but also in the passing game. And James Cook over the last few weeks has been stepping up. He's done really good things. And he's making himself noticeable not only in the run game, but also in the passing game, getting some nice completions and yards after the catch. So if Buffalo wants to have success in this game, they're going to have to go up against Quincy Williams and as well as CJ Mosley, and they're going to have to make CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams miss early on. Other key factors for the Bills offense is going to be Josh Allen, and this is the biggest one for me. Josh Allen is going to be going up against the New York Jets, who he had 2 interceptions against last time they played, and he did have the elbow injury against them to end that game. There was a very bad injury, so I think that there's going to be some revenge from him. He's going to be highly motivated to have success in this game. So I would really like to see a different Josh. I'd like to see him be careful with the ball, but also take the shots that you need to down the field. And if he does that, I do think the Bills are going to have a ton of success in this game. As for the defense for the Bills, they are going up against a different quarterback than they played in the first matchup. They're going up against Mike White, who is a totally different quarterback than the one that they went after in the first one. And they did play Zach Wilson in the first game, and Zach Wilson had by far one of his best games of the season in that game. And then the next week, he struggled against the New England Patriots, and he was benched. Mike White is a 27-year-old quarterback who has been with the Jets since 2020. He has an 89 passer rating overall for the season, a 2-3 record overall in his career. His average pass time right now is a 2.4, which means that he's getting the ball out very early, so defenses cannot sack him. He's okay with making a mistake and throwing an interception compared to getting a sack. And he is also has not been throwing the ball deep down the field. He's utilizing the quick passes to different receivers to allow him to get the yards after the catch. And he's making plays not only in the screen game as well as the play action. And that's 2 areas where he strives in. So if Buffalo is looking for some film on the Mike White, it's going to have to be in the play action as well as the screen game, and that's where the offense of the Jets over the past few weeks has had success. He also has the lowest pressure rate in the NFL this season, so if Buffalo is smart in this game, they're probably not going to be able to get a lot of sacks on Mike White, and they're going to have 4 men rush the passer as well as have 7 people in coverage and play excellent coverage. That's going to be the way to beat Mike White in this game. Another player who has torched the Bills in the first matchup was Michael Carter, who his status for the game is going to be unknown. He did average 6 yards per carry against the Bills in the first matchup, and he has been banged up a little bit, but the Jets have done a really good job of utilizing the running backs over the last few weeks, whether it's Ty Johnson or it's Knight that they have as well. I know they wish that they had Breece Hall back, but unfortunately he's out for the season. And if Buffalo wants to have success in this game, they're going to have to stop the run. And that's the one area where the Bills struggled with against the New York Jets in the first matchup. The Jets have an excellent offensive line with Dwayne Brown as well as Connor McGovern. And if Buffalo wants to have success, they're going to have to get into the backfield for some losses and tackles for loss in the run games. That way they're able to establish 3rd and longs against the Jets offense. But if they don't do that, the Jets are going to run all over us. They're going to have success in this game, and it's going to come down to the same matchup that we saw last time. The Jets had a great game plan last time they played us, and compliments to Robert Saleh and his staff for getting the game plan out there. The game plan was plain and simple: eliminate the amount of offensive drives that the Bills have, and then play defense and make them have to make big plays. And you saw what happened in that game. Josh got impatient. He started pressing the ball down the field a little bit too much, and that allowed the Jets to take advantage of the turnovers, win the turnover rate. Then they ran the ball, and they won the time of possession, and the Bills ended up losing that game. So if the Bills want to win this game, they're going to have long, sustained drives, keep the ball in their on the offensive side of the field, and also be able to eliminate the mistakes that you have on offense while also creating different plays and creating plays where you can have success on defense as well. Another key matchup is going to be Garrett Wilson going up against the number one cornerback for the Bills, whether that's going to be Tre'Davious White or is that going to be Dane Jackson, possibly even Kaiir Elam playing against him, or even Xavier Rhodes. You saw what happened last week for the Bills. They're going up against the New England Patriots, and having Tre'Davious White back out there made a big difference in the game for the Bills. You saw what happened. The Patriots were not able to find a number one receiver that could stretch the field for them. They had to utilize Marcus Jones, and he had a big game on the first drive. Then Buffalo was able to stop pretty much every single wide receiver that the Patriots had in that game. And being able to have Trey White back out there was big, as well as having Jordan Poyer back, which will be a very important thing for the Bills, because last time the Bills played, they had Jaquan Johnson out there. And overall, I have to say, I'm not going to say anything bad about Jaquan. He's not the same player as All-Pro and Jordan Poyer. Overall, the Bills are going to have to go up against Garrett Wilson, who is an excellent wide receiver. He had 162 yards last week against the Minnesota Vikings, and he has the speed where he can turn on the yards after the catch. Him and Corey Davis, who is finally healthy and is back into his prime after some injuries that he had earlier in the season, both of these two players are the heartbeat of the passing game for the New York Jets. If Buffalo wants to win this game, they're going to have to take both of these players out of the game, and whether that's going to be Tre'Davious White or Xavier Rhodes in coverage, or even Dane Jackson and Kaiir Elam in coverage, Buffalo's going to have to take these players out. I think the Bills, if they're smart in this game, they're going to have to play tight coverage. They're going to have to play press coverage a little bit, and they're going to have to play some smart zones where they're not giving too much ability for the wide receivers to get off the line and get open early. And if the Bills are smart, they utilize this strategy, play tight coverage, don't allow tight windows for Mike White to make mistakes. The last time the Bills played Mike White, he had 4 interceptions in the game, and a few weeks later, he was benched. So if the Bills are smart, they play very tight coverage that will allow them for Mike White to make mistakes. You can pick those off, and you can probably have an interception return for a touchdown. Other players on the Jets offense who are playing pretty good. Elijah Moore, who is a speedy player for them. He's somebody that the Bills are going to have to watch out for. Over the last few seasons, Buffalo has struggled, especially when they're going up against speed. If you look at Tyreek Hill, he was a player that the Bills struggled with in the playoff game, and he had an electric game, and he went off in that game. Buffalo struggled. Last week, Marcus Jones, another speedy player who is a special teams guy as well as a cornerback, came in on offense and all of a sudden took it to the house. And you can see that speed. So if Buffalo is smart, they're going to have to look for when the Jets are going to use that trickery play, and you've got to be able to stop that and stay in your gap on those plays. Other players, Denzel Mims, who's a good blocker in coverage, also a special teams player a little bit. Going to have to watch out for him in the blocking game, be able to get off their blocks when they're on Denzel Mims, be able to get into the backfield to make some stops. Overall, we'll go over the keys to the game. The first, we're going to start with the offense. And the first one that I have is being able to take care of the ball. That's going to be the most important thing for the Bills. If they are able to take care of the ball and not have so many turnovers like they had last time against the New York Jets, they will have success in this game. Second is third down efficiency as well as red zone efficiency. Last time the Bills played the New York Jets, they struggled in third down efficiency and red zone efficiency. And you could tell when the drive stalled, especially in the red zone, that's when the game was lost. There's a few times where Buffalo was in the red zone and they had an interception or there was a mistake that they made and they weren't able to capitalize on points on the board. You talk about what Josh Allen said last week against the New England Patriots. You talked about what Sean McDermott says to him. Make sure that every single drive ends in a kick, whether that's a touchdown, a field goal, or even a punt. If you're able to utilize this strategy, Buffalo will have success in this game because they will also be able to win the field range in this game. And if they're able to win the field range, they will have success because I don't think that the Jets are going to be able to move the ball down the field on the Bills. Third is be more balanced. The biggest thing that I've noticed over the past few weeks is Buffalo has been more balanced when they're running the ball. You got to get these running backs going, especially Devin Singletary and James Cook. If the Bills want to have success, they're going to have to run the ball in this game. And that's something that they struggled with last time they did play the New York Jets. They weren't able to run the ball very well. You went after Nick and got Naheem Hines. You have James Cook. You also have Devin Singletary. You're going to have to run behind this offensive line. You're going to have to get penetration in the offensive line. And you're going to have to get into the second wind of the New York Jets. If you're able to do that, you will have success in this game. Fourth is going to be stretch the field. If Buffalo stretches the field and they utilize the play action, you're going to have success in this game because it's going to have you're going to have the safeties dropping into coverage. They're going to come up and try and stop the run. You can take apart the cornerbacks on the outside. DJ Reed has been excellent this season. He has a subpar 60 passer rating, and Sauce Gardner has below a 50 passer rating. So you're going to have to go with the tight coverages on the outside, and you're going to have to take shots if I'm Josh. Take smart shots, utilize the play action, and that'll allow the one-on-one coverage that you'll see. And I do think that either receiver and Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs on the outside will be able to beat their man in coverage quite a bit. Fifth is going to be utilizing the play action. Like I said, this goes with point 4. If they're able to utilize the play action, and when they do utilize that play action, whether it is deep down the field or they do use the check down to the running backs, use that so that you can get the first down and you can have long sustained drives. 6 is going to be win the time of possession in this game. That's where the Bills lost the game last time against the New York Jets. If they're able to win the time of possession, I think the Bills are going to come out of this game and easily win it if they're able to win the time of possession. On defense, a couple of things that Buffalo should focus on. Number 1 is being able to tackle. Last time the Bills played the Jets, they weren't able to tackle, and there's so many missed plays where Buffalo wasn't able to tackle them. And you saw running backs getting open. They're able to get into the secondary, and that's when the big plays happen. If Buffalo is able to tackle in this game and maintain their gaps, they're going to have success in this game. Next is going to be closing on the routes. You're going to have to play some press coverage. You're going to have to play zone and drop 7 into coverage. And if they're able to play the 7 in coverage and keep on your man and keep tight coverage on them, it's going to be a good game for the Bills. Third is going to be the defensive line batting balls down. I think that this is going to be important. Is if the Bills aren't able to get to the quarterback, they're going to have their hands up. They're going to have to make some plays. And if they're able to make some plays in the where they're able to get into coverage, or not into coverage, but in the face of Mike White and make some plays where they can bat some balls down, it's going to be good for the Bills. Overall, I have the Bills winning this game 34-17 in favor of the Bills. I think it's a revenge game. I think that the Bills are focused right now. They have the number 1 seed. They have everything in their favor right now. And they're focused. They have lost the last 2 games to the second and third place teams in the division. So they're going to be hungry. They're going to want to play with a vengeance. And if Buffalo is able to have that hunger, I think it's going to bring out another level in Josh Allen and this offense, as well as the defenses too. So I have the Bills winning this game 34-17. And I also have Josh going for 2 touchdowns in this game, in the passing game, 1 in the on the ground. Devin Singletary will lead running backs. I have Isaiah McKenzie leading the receivers with 85 yards. I know that Stephon Diggs is going to have success in this game, but I think it's going to be more him being in coverage, especially in double coverage. That's going to allow different receivers to be able to get open as well. I do think the Bills will also have success on defense with 2 picks on Mike White, as well as a fumble recovered from the defense. I think that's going to go with Tremaine Edmonds getting the fumble recovery as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. You can find us on all those social media platforms, as well as on our new website, the GoBillsPodcast.com. You can find us on all those social media platforms. We have started the GoBillsPodcast.com. We will have up-to-the-minute news that's going to be on there, as well as we'll keep up our upcoming events that we're going to have. And also, if you have a chance, go on our Instagram and send us a DM with your pictures. If you're at Highmark Stadium, or if you're at all the different stadiums that the Bills are going to be playing at, or if you're somewhere in the world and you're with your family, or you have a man cave or something like that. If you have somewhere where you have a bunch of Bills gear, we want to see that stuff. So if you have anything Bills related, please send us a DM or even email it to us at GoBillsPodcast.com. I'm sorry, at GoBillsPodcast@gmail.com. This has been the Go Bills Podcast, and we will see you later in the week with our we're going to be collaborating with Nickel City Mafia, as well as the Red, White, and Bills on YouTube on Friday around 8 o'clock. I will keep you guys notified. That'll be on our website as well, so we will keep you notified on when that's going to be. This has been the Go Bills Podcast, and we will see you next time for another edition of the Go Bills Podcast. Until then, go Bills, and God bless.